Welcome to Flavor Street. Join us as we explore unique flavors and street food recipes from around the world. Subscribe and enjoy the journey. Frikandel, deep-fried minced meat sausage. Frikandel, a popular Dutch snack, is a deep-fried, skinless sausage. While there can be variations, here are the common ingredients you'd find in a homemade frikandel. Main ingredients. Ground meat, a mix of different meats is typical. Common combinations include chicken, often mechanically separated meat. Pork. Beef. Sometimes a small amount of horse meat is historically mentioned in commercial versions, but it's less common in homemade recipes due to cost and availability. Breadcrumbs, to help bind the mixture. Onion, finely chopped or in powder form. Garlic, minced or in powder form. Egg, acts as a binder. Cream or milk, to help bind and add moisture. Spices and seasonings, vary by recipe but often include salt, black pepper, nutmeg. Allspice, can be a blend of nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. Coriander. Ginger, sometimes. Mustard powder, sometimes. Umami powder, sometimes. Optional additions. Worcestershire sauce. Ketchup, a small amount in the mixture. Seltzer water, for moisture. Preparation notes. The meat is often ground very finely, sometimes even processed in a food processor, to achieve the smooth texture characteristic of a frikandel. The raw frikandels are usually poached, boiled in water or broth, before being deep-fried to finish. They are traditionally served deep-fried, often with mayonnaise, curry ketchup, and finely chopped raw onions, known as Frikandel Special. Stroopwafel, caramel-filled waffle cookies. To prepare authentic stroopwafels, you'll need ingredients for both the waffle dough and the syrup filling. Here are the key ingredients you'll commonly find in traditional recipes. For the waffle dough. All-purpose flour, the base of the waffle. Unsalted butter, adds richness and tenderness. Sugar, typically white granulated sugar or superfine, castor, sugar. Yeast, essential for the dough's texture and a slight rise. Active dry yeast is common. Lukewarm milk, to activate the yeast and provide moisture. Egg, acts as a binder and adds to the dough's richness. Ground cinnamon, a classic spice that gives the waffles a warm, inviting aroma and flavor. Salt, to balance the sweetness and enhance the flavors. For the syrup filling, stroop. Dutch molasses syrup, keukenstrophe, or golden syrup, this is the traditional base for the sticky, caramel-like filling. If keukenstrophe is hard to find, a combination of golden syrup and a small amount of treacle or molasses can be a good substitute. Some recipes also use dark corn syrup. Brown sugar, adds depth of flavor and contributes to the caramelization. Unsalted butter, for richness and a smooth texture in the syrup. Ground cinnamon, to complement the waffle flavor and enhance the overall taste. Salt, a pinch to balance the sweetness. Optional for crystallization prevention, some recipes add a small amount of fructose, honey, or gelatin powder. Important notes for preparation. The dough is a yeast-leavened dough, so it will require time to rise. A specialized waffle iron, often a pizzelle or stroopwafel iron, is necessary to create the thin, crisp waffles. The key to a good stroopwafel is splitting the warm waffle horizontally into 2 thin layers and immediately spreading the warm syrup filling before it cools and hardens. Poffertjes, mini fluffy pancakes with butter and powdered sugar. Poffertjes are delightful mini Dutch pancakes, known for their fluffy texture. The traditional ingredients typically include. For the batter. Flour, a combination is common, often. Buckwheat flour, this is a traditional ingredient that gives poffertjes their unique, slightly nutty flavor and a light texture. All-purpose, plain, flour, often used in conjunction with buckwheat flour for a lighter overall texture. Some modern recipes might use only all-purpose flour for convenience. Yeast, this is a key leavening agent that gives poffertjes their characteristic puffiness, distinguishing them from regular pancakes that often use baking powder. Active dry yeast or instant yeast are typical. Milk. Lukewarm milk is crucial for activating the yeast and forming the batter. Whole milk is often preferred for richness. Eggs act as a binder and contribute to the richness and structure of the poffertjes. Sugar. A small amount of granulated sugar or caster sugar is added to the batter for a hint of sweetness and to help activate the yeast. Salt. A pinch of salt balances the flavors. For cooking. Butter, for greasing the pan, essential for cooking the poffertjes and preventing them from sticking in the special poffertjes pan. For serving, traditional toppings. Powdered sugar, icing sugar. A generous dusting is the most classic topping. Unsalted butter, small knobs of butter, placed on the warm poffertjes, melt delightfully into the fluffy pancakes. Optional/variations for serving. Maple syrup or honey. Fresh fruit, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. Jam. Nutella or other spreads. Whipped cream or ice cream. A special poffertjes pan, a cast iron or non-stick pan with shallow, hemispherical indentations, is essential for achieving their distinctive small, round shape. Mosselen, mussels, often served with fries. Mosselen is the Dutch word for mussels, and in the Netherlands and Belgium, they are most commonly prepared in a simple yet incredibly flavorful way by steaming them in a pot. The beauty of this dish lies in the freshness of the mussels and the aromatic liquid they are steamed in. Here are the common ingredients to prepare mosselen, steamed mussels. Main ingredient. Fresh mussels, this is paramount. Look for mussels that are tightly closed. Discard any that are open and don't close when tapped. Clean them well, scrubbing off any grit and removing the beards, byssus threads, if present. Aromatics and liquids for steaming. White wine, this is the most classic choice for the steaming liquid, adding a beautiful depth of flavor. A dry white wine is preferred. Onion, roughly chopped or sliced. Garlic, minced or sliced. Celery, chopped into pieces, often a few stalks. Leek, the white and light green parts, sliced, adds a mild oniony flavor. Fresh parsley, a generous bunch, roughly chopped, added both during cooking and for garnish. Butter or olive oil, for sautéing the aromatics before adding the mussels. Water or vegetable broth, sometimes used in combination with wine, or as a substitute if you prefer not to use alcohol. Seasoning. Black pepper, freshly ground. Salt, use sparingly, as mussels can be naturally salty. Taste before adding more. Optional/common additions for flavor variation. Thyme or bay leaf, for additional herbaceous notes. Chili flakes, for a touch of heat. Cream or creme fraiche, sometimes stirred in at the very end to create a richer sauce, e.g., mosselen met room, mussels with cream. Chopped tomatoes, for a Mediterranean twist. Beer, in some Belgian preparations, beer is used instead of wine. Serving. Typically served in the large pot they were cooked in, often with French fries, frieden, and mayonnaise, along with crusty bread for dipping in the delicious broth. The process is generally quick. Sauté the aromatics, add mussels and liquid, cover, and steam until the mussels open. Bitterballen, deep-fried meatballs, great with beer. Bitterballen are a beloved Dutch deep-fried snack, essentially small, round, crispy croquettes with a creamy, savory ragu filling. They are usually made from a base of slow-cooked meat, most commonly beef, a thick roux, and broth, then breaded and deep-fried. Here are the key ingredients you'll need to prepare bitterballen. For the ragu filling. Cooked meat. Beef, this is the most traditional and common choice, often from cuts suitable for slow cooking like beef chuck, brisket, or oxtail, which become very tender. The meat is typically shredded or finely diced after cooking. Variations, sometimes veal, chicken, or even vegetarian options, like mushroom or vegetable ragu, are used. Butter, for making the roux and sautéing aromatics. All-purpose flour, to create the roux, which thickens the ragu. Broth. Beef broth/stock, essential for flavor and consistency. Homemade is best, but good quality store-bought works too. Optional, A splash of red wine or a dash of stout beer can be added for deeper flavor. Onion, finely chopped, for flavor base. Fresh parsley, finely chopped, for freshness and flavor. Seasonings. Nutmeg, crucial for authentic Dutch flavor. Salt and black pepper, to taste. Optional, a bay leaf and a few black peppercorns can be added to the broth while cooking the meat for extra aroma. Gelatin, optional but recommended. A little powdered gelatin, dissolved in some cold water, can be added to the warm ragu to help it firm up better when chilled, making it easier to shape the bitterballen. For the breading/coating. All-purpose flour, for the first coating, dredging. Eggs, beaten, for the second coating, egg wash. Breadcrumbs. Fine breadcrumbs. Traditional Dutch breadcrumbs are often very fine. Panko breadcrumbs. Many recipes now recommend panko for an extra crispy exterior. For deep frying. Neutral flavored oil, such as sunflower oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil, suitable for deep frying. Key steps in preparation. Prepare the meat, slow cook the beef until very tender, then shred or finely chop it. Make the ragu, create a roux with butter and flour, then gradually whisk in the hot broth to form a very thick bechamel-like sauce. Stir in the shredded meat, sautéed onions, parsley, and seasonings. Chill the ragu, this is critical. The ragu must be thoroughly chilled, ideally overnight, until it's very firm, making it easy to scoop and roll into balls. Shape and bread. Form the cold ragu into small balls, about 3 to 4 centimeters or 1.5 inches in diameter. Dip each ball first in flour, then in beaten egg, and finally coat generously in breadcrumbs. For extra crispiness and to prevent leakage, some recipes suggest a double breading, egg, breadcrumbs, then repeat egg, breadcrumbs. Deep fry. Fry the bitterballen in hot oil until golden brown and crispy. Serve. Typically served hot, often with mustard. Dijon or a coarse-grained mustard is popular. Turballen, deep-fried meatballs, great with beer. Loempia, Dutch-style spring roll. Loempia is the Dutch and Indonesian term for spring rolls, and it generally refers to a larger, often fried, savory roll with various fillings. While there are many regional variations, e.g., Vietnamese fresh spring rolls, Filipino lumpia, Chinese spring rolls, in the context of Dutch cuisine, it often refers to the substantial fried version that became popular due to Indonesia's colonial history. Here are the common ingredients to prepare Dutch/Indonesian-style fried loempia. For the filling. Protein, optional but common. Ground pork, a very popular choice. Chicken, ground or finely shredded. Shrimp, small, chopped shrimp. Vegetarian options, tofu or tempeh, mushrooms. Vegetables, the heart of the filling, typically. White cabbage, finely shredded. Carrot, grated or julienned. Bean sprouts, adds crunch. Leek, finely sliced. Onion, finely chopped. Garlic, minced. Ginger, freshly grated, optional, but adds a nice aroma. Noodles, optional. Vermicelli noodles, mung bean thread noodles soaked and chopped, adds body to the filling. Seasonings/sauces. Soy sauce, light and or dark. Fish sauce, for umami and depth of flavor, often used in Indonesian variations. Oyster sauce, adds richness and sweetness. White pepper, or black pepper. Sugar, a pinch to balance flavors. Salt to taste. Sesame oil, a few drops for aroma at the end of cooking the filling. For the wrappers. Loempia wrappers, spring roll wrappers. These are thin, square or round sheets made from wheat flour and water, specifically designed for spring rolls. They are widely available in Asian supermarkets in the frozen section. Do not confuse them with rice paper wrappers for fresh spring rolls. For sealing and frying. Egg, lightly beaten, or a paste made from flour and water, used to seal the wrappers. Neutral flavored oil, such as sunflower oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil, for deep frying. Common accompaniments for serving. Chili sauce, sambal olek or a sweet chili sauce for dipping. Soy sauce with finely sliced chilies, another popular dipping option. General preparation steps. Prepare filling, sauté the aromatics, then meat, if using, then vegetables until softened but still with a bit of bite. Add soaked noodles and seasonings. Let the filling cool completely. Wrap, place a portion of filling onto a Loempia wrapper, fold in the sides, and roll tightly. Seal the edge with egg wash or flour paste. Fry, deep fry the Loempias in hot oil until golden brown and crispy. Pizza slices, from snack bars. When we talk about pizza slices, we're essentially talking about pizza itself, as slices are just a portion of a larger pizza. The ingredients for pizza can vary greatly depending on the style, Neapolitan, New York, Sicilian, etc., and toppings. Here are the core ingredients for a classic pizza that would then be cut into slices. For the dough. All-purpose flour or 00 flour, 00 flour, a finely milled Italian flour, is preferred for traditional Neapolitan-style pizza for a soft, chewy crust, but good quality all-purpose flour works well for home baking. Water, lukewarm water is best to activate the yeast. Yeast, active dry yeast or instant yeast. This makes the dough rise and gives it its characteristic texture. Salt, essential for flavor and controlling yeast activity. Olive oil, optional but recommended, adds flavor, tenderness, and helps with browning. For the sauce. Canned whole peeled tomatoes, high-quality San Marzano tomatoes are often considered the gold standard for their sweetness and low acidity. Crush them by hand or lightly blend them. Garlic, optional minced or crushed, adds aromatic depth. Fresh basil, optional a few leaves torn or chopped. Olive oil, optional a drizzle for richness. Salt and black pepper, to taste. Dried oregano, optional a classic pizza seasoning. For the cheese. Low moisture mozzarella, this is key for the classic stretchy, bubbly pizza melt. It browns well without releasing too much water, which can make the crust soggy. You can buy it pre-shredded or in blocks, shredding your own is often better. Fresh mozzarella, optional use for Neapolitan-style pizza, but contains more water so it needs careful handling. Parmesan or Pecorino Romano, optional grated, adds a salty, nutty flavor, often sprinkled on top of the mozzarella or after baking. Toppings, highly customizable. This is where you can get creative. Some popular options include meats, pepperoni, cooked sausage, ham, bacon, ground beef, chicken, prosciutto. Vegetables, bell peppers, various colors, onions, red, white, mushrooms, black olives, green olives, spinach, artichoke hearts, pineapple, jalapenos, cherry tomatoes. Fresh herbs, fresh basil leaves, added after baking for best flavor, oregano. Other, red pepper flakes, olive oil drizzle. Basic steps for preparing a classic pizza. Make the dough, mix ingredients, knead, and let it rise. Prepare sauce, combine tomatoes and seasonings. Prepare toppings, slice and prepare your chosen toppings. Assemble, stretch the dough, spread sauce, add cheese, then toppings. Bake, in a very hot oven, as hot as your oven can get, ideally with a pizza stone or steel, until the crust is golden and the cheese is bubbly and slightly charred. Slice, let it cool for a minute or two, then slice and serve. Burger van de viskraam, fish burger from a seafood stall. The burger van de viskraam, Dutch for fish stall burger, typically refers to a simple yet delicious fish sandwich often bought from a fish stand. It's usually not a burger patty, in the sense of ground fish formed into a patty, but rather a fried fish fillet served in a bun with some basic toppings and sauce. Here are the key ingredients for a typical burger van de viskraam. The fish. White fish fillet, most commonly a mild, flaky white fish. Popular choices include cod, cabblejaw. Haddock, shelvies. Pollock, Alaska coolvis. For the coating/batter. Flour, all-purpose flour for dredging. Egg, beaten, for an egg wash. Breadcrumbs, fine breadcrumbs for a crispy coating. Sometimes a light batter, like beer batter, made with flour, baking powder, and beer or sparkling water, is used instead of just breadcrumbs. Oil, for frying, e.g., sunflower oil, canola oil. The bun. Soft burger bun, a soft, often slightly sweet, white hamburger bun. Sesame seed buns are common. The sauce. Tartar sauce, remoulade sauce or revigotta sauce. This is the classic accompaniment. It's a mayonnaise-based sauce typically with mayonnaise, finely chopped pickles, cornichons, or capers, finely chopped fresh herbs, dill, parsley, chives, lemon juice or a touch of vinegar, salt and pepper. Other possibilities, sometimes a simple dollop of mayonnaise or a mild curry ketchup might be offered. Toppings, simple and fresh. Lettuce, fresh crisp lettuce, e.g., iceberg or romaine. Tomato slices, fresh, ripe tomato. Onion, optional thinly sliced raw onion or pickled onion. Pickles, augurk sliced pickled gherkins, often separate from the sauce. Basic preparation steps. Prepare the fish, pat the fish fillet dry. Season with salt and pepper. Bread it by dredging in flour, then dipping in beaten egg, and finally coating thoroughly in breadcrumbs, or dip in a prepared batter. Fry the fish, heat oil in a pan or deep fryer and fry the fish fillet until golden brown and cooked through. Drain excess oil on paper towels. Prepare the bun, lightly toast the bun if desired. Assemble, spread a generous amount of tartar sauce on the bun. Add lettuce, tomato, the fried fish fillet, and any other desired toppings. Close the bun and serve immediately.